there is no one secret separating the wildly successful from the rest. There are many people in this world who are brilliant, talented, and full of potential, yet they never quite break through. And then there are others, with no exceptional advantages, who somehow rise to levels most people only dream about. The difference isn't luck, it isn't talent, it isn't even hard work alone, it's the way they think. It's the mindset that sits quietly behind every decision, every setback, and every breakthrough. And once someone understands this mindset, everything changes. The core belief that rewires everything. Most people carry a quiet assumption about themselves, that their abilities are fixed, that they are either smart or they're not, either talented or they're not. This belief, known as the fixed mindset, shapes every choice a person makes. It makes them avoid challenges because failure feels like proof of inadequacy. It makes them give up when things get hard because struggle signals limitation rather than growth. Stanford University psychologist Carol Dweck spent decades researching this very idea. Her findings revealed something that changed how the world thinks about success. People with a growth mindset, the belief that skills and intelligence can be developed through effort, consistently outperform those who see their traits as permanent. They don't just work harder, they work smarter, because they approach every obstacle as a lesson rather than a verdict. Kobe Bryant is one of the most powerful examples of this principle in action. When he was alive, he was famous not just for his talent on the basketball court, but for his absolute obsession with improvement. He once described his philosophy as constantly moving, constantly learning, and constantly evolving. When he transitioned out of basketball and entered the entertainment world, that same mindset followed him. He sought out Oprah Winfrey before launching his production company because he understood that the most powerful people in the world never stop being students. He absorbed lessons from failures, and he treated every conversation with a great mind as an opportunity to grow. Oprah Winfrey herself is a testament to the same force. She was fired from her first television job as a reporter. That early rejection, which would have stopped most people entirely, barely slowed her down. She reframed it not as a dead end, but as a redirection. She went on to build one of the most influential media empires in history. The difference between Oprah at her lowest point and someone else in the same situation was not her circumstances. It was her interpretation of those circumstances. She refused to let failure write the final chapter. This is the first pillar of a powerful mindset, the deep, unshakable belief that the current version of oneself is not the final version, that every experience, good or bad, is raw material for something greater. The powerful don't just tolerate growth. They pursue it with hunger. The discipline of ownership and long-term thinking, the second trait that separates the powerful from everyone else, is the way they relate to responsibility. Most people drift between two extremes, either blaming others when things go wrong or crediting luck when things go right. Psychologists call this an external locus of control. People with this orientation feel like life is happening to them, not because of them. And that feeling, however small, quietly dismantles ambition over time. The powerful operate from the opposite position. They carry what researchers describe as an internal locus of control, a firm belief that their decisions, actions, and choices directly shape their outcomes. This doesn't mean they ignore forces beyond their control. It means they focus their energy on what they can influence, rather than what they cannot. This orientation makes them more resilient, more accountable, and more effective over long periods of time. Elon Musk's story makes this extraordinarily clear. When SpaceX's early rockets exploded on the launch pad, when Tesla was running out of money and on the verge of collapse, most people expected him to quit. His companies faced failures that would have ended careers, broken spirits, and closed businesses permanently. Instead, Musk doubled down. He poured his own money into both ventures when banks wouldn't. He treated each failure as data, information to be processed, learned from, and used to move forward. He wasn't blind to risk. He once openly stated that there is an enormous bias in the world against taking risks. But he understood that without accepting risk and owning the outcome, nothing of significance could be built. This connects to another element of powerful thinking, the willingness to play a long game. Most people want immediate results. They start projects, lose momentum after early struggles, and abandon them before the compounding effects of consistent effort have time to take hold. The powerful think in longer arcs. They set goals that extend beyond what is comfortable or obvious. They understand that the gap between starting and succeeding is usually not about talent. It is about the discipline to stay consistent when the results aren't visible yet. Research published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences adds another dimension to this. Scientists from the National University of Singapore and Stanford identified what they called a strategic mindset, the tendency to ask, even in the middle of difficulty, whether there is a better way forward. People with this mindset don't just push harder at what isn't working. They pause, reassess, and adapt. They treat every challenge as a puzzle with a solution waiting to be found. This is not passive reflection. It is active, strategic thinking, and it consistently separates those who find breakthroughs from those who simply burn out. What the powerful protect above all else, the third, and perhaps most underestimated dimension of a powerful mindset, is what these individuals choose to protect. While most people protect their comfort, the powerful protect their vision, their values, and their time. Powerful individuals are extraordinarily clear on what they stand for before they ever take action. They do not make decisions based on the mood of the moment or the approval of the crowd. They root every significant choice in a set of deeply held values that function like a compass. Research in psychology supports this directly. When people clarify their values before setting goals, they not only perform better, they are far more likely to persist through setbacks. This clarity was evident in figures like Steve Jobs. He was removed from Apple, the company he founded, by his own board. That kind of public failure would have destroyed most people. But Jobs had a vision so clear and so deeply rooted in what he believed design and technology could achieve that even exile from his own creation couldn't silence it. He built Pixar into a revolutionary company while away from Apple. When he eventually returned, he transformed the technology industry again and again. His sense of purpose was not tied to a title or a position. It lived inside him. And then there is the question of time. Truly powerful individuals are ferociously selective about where they direct their attention. They understand that scattered effort produces scattered results. They choose one or two great endeavors and commit fully, rather than spreading themselves thin across dozens of half-finished ideas. They say no more than they say yes. They guard their focus as if it is their most valuable resource. Because it is, what ties all of these traits together is a simple but profound truth. The mindset that separates the powerful from everyone else is not a gift handed to a selected few. It is a practice. It is built through repetition, through choosing growth over comfort, ownership over blame, and clarity over distraction. Every person who has ever risen to genuine power, whether in business, art, sport, or leadership, has done so by consistently choosing to think differently from the crowd. The question is not whether this mindset is available. The question is whether someone is willing to claim it.